Well, most city dwellers have never seen that because there's too much light pollution. But our part of the country is exceptionally blessed with dark skies, particularly in our national parks.
And there are a lot of people who hope to keep it that way. Science and nature specialist John Hollenhorst has more tonight on the dark skies of the West.
You can enjoy the national parks the way these photo buffs are doing it in the daytime, when Bryce Canyon's spectacular features are as visible as the nose on your face, or you can follow the slogan of the National Park Service.
Half the park is after dark, absolutely.
Like at 3 a.m. when you can't see your hands in front of your face, unless you have infrared vision like we do.
See the Milky Way, where's Sagittarius?
Right there in front of us.
Royce BAIR's photo specialty comes to life after dark.
And that's the Milky Way just to the left. It's just coming up above the horizon.
He shoots images of the night sky, nightscapes mixed with stunning Utah landscapes. Images that often turn up in major magazines, images that are impossible without very dark skies. Bryce Canyon has the dark sky trifecta: high elevation, dry air, and very little light pollution.
You go back east, you go 25, 50 miles away from a big city, you're in another big city. They just can't get away from it.
He brought some of his former students together in the middle of the night to show us how he teaches his craft.
But I wouldn't push it anymore.
He uses long exposures to make the Milky Way more vivid than it appears to the naked eye.
All we're doing is enhancing that, making it a little bit brighter.
The images are amazing, but it's also amazing what you can just see if you look.
Even if you're not a photography buff, there's a lot to be said for getting out here in the middle of the night. For city folk like me, it's an amazing experience to see the heavens like this.
Living in a city, you never see anything like this.
A couple of 100 miles away, just over the Nevada border, they've leveled this ground at Great Basin National Park.
This is one of the darkest sites on the continent.
Our graphic artist came up with this simulation for what Great Basin looks like at night. This summer, they'll build the first astronomical observatory in a national park.
We could actually afford to build a relatively small telescope with a small footprint that actually lets us do world-class research here.
So here where you have absolutely dark skies untouched by light pollution, it's just a phenomenal thing.
Universities, high schools, even middle schools will operate the scope remotely. A private foundation raised over $800,000.
If we can get one child interested in astronomy and send him off or her off to college someday to become an astrophysicist, then we'll have accomplished what we want to do.
Long term, though, there's a threat.
Dark skies are becoming increasingly rare.
Royce BAIR uses carefully controlled lighting to create his images, but uncontrolled lighting invades, even at a place as pristine as Bryce Canyon.
But there's a town right there that's giving kind of an orange glow on the horizon.
That's the tiny town of Cannonville. Far to the south, in Flagstaff, Arizona, they long ago decided to do something about light pollution. The world-famous Lowell Observatory is on a hill above downtown. It's where they discovered Pluto and the expanding universe. Decades ago, the observatory had to open remote facilities because of light pollution. Eventually, Flagstaff imposed strict intensity limits and requirements for shielding lights.
Purpose of our code is to make sure that you have light where you're walking, where you're driving, where you're eating, rather than up in the sky.
When Flagstaff gets dark, it really is dark.
So we can see the Milky Way from our street.
Astronomer Christian Lugenbuehl says this shopping center has 1/5 to 1/10 the light you'd find in other cities.
Perfectly adequate for visibility and safety.
He says the dark skies philosophy benefits everyone, not just scientists.
Thinking of protecting the sky just for astronomers would be like thinking of protecting Grand Canyon for geologists or Bryce Canyon for geologists.
We all come from the stars. We're largely made of carbon, and that carbon came from stars, many stars that died billions of years ago. So despite stars being far away, we're all made of star stuff in the end.
John Hollenhorst, KSL 5 News, under a starry western sky.
Thank you, John. If you want to be one with the stars, here's something for your calendar. The 16th annual Bryce Canyon Astronomy Festival is coming up June 1st through June 4th. And clearly, there's a lot to see.